everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today is going to be a little demonstration of something that I'm going to do as a follow along because it's not an area I was trained in. I don't know lots about it, but it captured my attention because it's an unusual name. I hadn't heard of it before. Finger gymnastics, finger aerobics. Now, it's not only for dexterity as I'm discovering, but it's also for your brain. So it was this week, I caught a bit of an interview with Ellen and Jane Fonda, and they showed you the trailer for, I think it's 9 to 5, the documentary, and it's about sort of female liberation, women's lib in the workplace. And I love the old clips of the secretaries and the workers in the 50s, 60s. I know that going to the office is not really thrilling for anyone, but everyone always dressed so well that when you look back, it's probably with rose-tinted glasses, but quite clearly because of the documentary, it's not that case at all. But there was a clip from the 70s and they were showing you somebody getting ready to do their typing. I'm guessing it was somebody in the typing pool or a secretary. And they mentioned that before she was going to start typing, she was going to do her finger gymnastics. And I thought, what's that? Never heard of that before. And when you delve a little bit deeper, now I've got my laptop beside me because I'm going to link you to the areas that I've referenced because this isn't anything that I've trained in. So I'm referencing some websites and I'm going to do a couple of follow along videos and then I'm going to reference them in the description because I'm following along and it's not my original work. So when I look at finger gymnastics, what it's basically about is it comes down to a couple of things. It's dexterity for definite. So if you think about dexterity, we normally favour one hand. Not that many people are ambidextrous. Sometimes you can write with both hands and that's quite a novelty. Some people, and I include myself in this, they favour one hand to write and then sometimes they use a different hand to do different things. So you might favour, for me, I'm left-handed, but there are certain tasks that it feels more comfortable to use my right hand. Obviously, at the moment, I can't think of what that is. But you'll know what I mean. There's certain things where it just feels right to use one hand and feels right to use the other hand. Some people only use their right for everything or their left for everything. But if you favour one hand, for instance, the example that I read for one of them was you always use one hand to brush your teeth. You always use one hand to write. You always use one hand if you were playing tennis or doing anything like that. It's always that hand. Then you're not really getting the balance. So the dexterity, the flexibility, the mobility might be different in one hand compared to the other. The strength might be different in one hand compared to the other. But it can also come down to, apart from the dexterity, you might have issues as well. You might maybe have a little bit of, it could be arthritis, or it could be certain mobility issues that stop you getting your full range of flexibility. But I was also learning it's got a lot to do with the brain too. So there's a bit of brain training there. And it can be about keeping the connections going. If you think about it, you've got all those neural pathways. You've got all your sensory nerve endings. So again, I'm just going to scroll down, but I will link you to everything that I am looking at just now. Finger gymnastics can be seen as strengthening your dexterity, but also brain training in the sense of making sure that you're utilising your finger movements and that is actually helping you with your cognitive behaviour. And when you talk about cognitive behaviour, it's really just the process of using the brain. And some of the examples used were it improves your thinking, it improves your emotion, it improves your relaxation. And it was actually quite interesting to realise that it's also about improving alertness and overall your connectivity within your body. So when I actually thought about it, I just thought finger gymnastics were about warm-ups and I could understand that. But one of the articles that I'll link you to basically says that it's about really making sure that your brain and your receptors, and by receptors again we're talking about your nerve endings, your sensory nerves, all these things, that you're making sure that everything's doing what it's meant to do. So see, while I'm talking to you, I'm moving my hands about. You could argue that this is a form of finger gymnastics, finger aerobics, but all I'm really doing just now is just moving my hands about because I can. But there'll actually be exercise routines, methods. There'll be things that you can do. And again, it's very much, I believe it sort of falls into the two areas. One for warming up to protect your hands. Actually, three areas. One for warm up and protection. One for strengthening and making sure that the muscles are moving in this dexterity. And the other one does appear to be the brain training. So if I take a look at one of the videos, and again, I will link you to it. Now, this video is entitled Finger Warm-Ups for Handwriting and also Fine Motor Dexterity. So you're opening and closing your hand, but you're starting from the pinky and you're doing it basically one finger at a time. And I'm guessing again that's because there's a job to do there, which is to make sure that you're able to control the fingers individually. And then you can also do counting. I'm not really paying full attention to what I'm doing just now because I'm also looking at the video. And I'll be honest with you, I'm doing this for the first time with the video. I haven't actually practiced this before. So it looks as though you can actually count to 5 and just make sure that you are able to move those fingers individually. Finger to thumb opposition. So again, I can understand that not only would this be warming things up, but it would also be making sure that what you want to happen is actually happening. So there are a few games that we used to play when I was younger, and I'll actually do it in a moment. I won't be able to do it properly because I don't have someone here with me to play it with, but we used to play a game where, right, I'll pause this video. We used to play a game where you would say, right, cross over your hands and then fold them together and then pull them up. And then you would say to them, like, move your pinky, move the left hand pinky, and say it was this one. But see, because you were pointing to it, they would, I mean, look at that. I'm trying to move that pinky, but that finger wants to move too. And then if you said, like, move that, see, I did it right there. I want to move that finger, but my brain thinks it's that finger. So it's quite bizarre that you can actually trick yourself. So if I want to move this index finger, now that worked because I think my brain remembers this game a little bit. But if you point to it but you don't touch it, your brain can get it mixed up with this one. So you would actually be looking at the left-hand side, but your brain is tricked and it moves the right-hand side. But it's funny that I tried to move my pinky there, just for an example, and I couldn't do it because it wanted to move that finger. That is a rubbish example, and I'm bouncing the table about, I'm so sorry. But that just shows you how you can trick your brain, you can confuse your brain. So obviously brain training is a great idea because it's keeping everything fresh, it's keeping it active, and it's making you think. So that's one of the exercise videos. And then the other one that I've got, just find it here, finger gymnastics for beginners. And again, it's fine motor skills. So let's have a little look at some of the examples. So it's making your hands into a fist and then just opening them up, and then fist and then open up, and having the palms flat and then moving the thumbs out and then bringing the thumbs in and then moving the thumbs out and then putting the thumbs over the fingers and stretching out. And we're stretching for quite a while here. And then just gently curling in the fingers and then crunching up again into a fist and then stretching out and then seeing if you can actually stretch and flex those palms. So you're bringing them into a fist and then you're flexing them out as comfortably as you can. And then bringing in and then flexing out as comfortably as you can. And then bringing out those thumbs, fingers, basically giving everything a good stretch out. And then we're back again. This is also using the fingers to the thumbs individually. And you can actually feel the muscles working, you definitely can. And if you think about it, all these tiny little muscles here, they don't really get a lot of workout. We will use them and we will be active during the day, but you don't really work them. And then I can see here they're making the movement a little bit smaller, making it much more defined. This is actually quite relaxing. I didn't expect this to be relaxing. And then we're back to the full movement. I can understand why this would be brain training, especially if you gave someone different sequences, or if you said to them, okay, now do the middle finger, now do the ring finger. You actually have to give it a split second's thought to make sure you get the right one. So if you kept changing the sequences, I can understand how you could really give your brain some activity. Now this exercise is actually just working with the thumb on the tips of the fingers. I didn't expect this to be as relaxing as it is. And then there's a little bit more movement again. And then just some exercises. And I'm going to stop this video just now. It goes on for a little bit longer. Actually, I'm just going to skip through and see if there's anything else. With this video, it is mostly using the thumbs to the fingers. But I've also seen some where the hand is flat and you're very gently pulling up the fingers, giving everything a stretch, but obviously as comfortably as you can. You don't want to bring something up beyond what feels naturally comfortable. It's not about that at all. And then obviously the thumb is positioned differently, so it will behave a bit differently. But I've seen that, and also holding the hands in the prayer movement and just using them to again stretch and bend. To do that. And then maybe move from left to right. And I would say these are more for the dexterity. But again, as I just witnessed, you can feel your brain working when you're moving from one digit to the other, and you're making sure that you're actually moving the right ones at the right time. I do get that. And then maybe just some circles. But it's actually an area, at first I thought it was just something quite amusing, but finger gymnastics, finger aerobics, there's definitely something in that. So have you heard of it? Is it just me that it was new to? I'd love to know. So there are lots more videos, lots more articles on it, but I just picked a couple of easy videos to do a follow along, and also a couple of articles just to give me the basics on what it was. So as I say again, this is not my work. This is me actually referencing some others and using them for follow-alongs. So they will be clearly marked in the description box so that you can have a look at them too and you can see where the source is. I'd love to know if you're familiar with it, if it's something that you do, or if you're just like me, it was new to you. And other than that, have a lovely day and I will see you again soon.